Well, let's go ahead and let's see, it's 12:01. We can, oh, there's Tara. You know what? Let's give another minute for just a few more people to join us. And there you go. Hi there. Trinity, good to see you too.
Henrietta, no others are waiting, but I'm going
Okay.
to keep monitoring and let people in as they
Got
arrive.
it. And I see Tara Whitehead has just joined us too. All right, let's go ahead and start our program meeting. And for our speakers, let's go ahead and introduce each other. I'll start. Henrietta Speedy, co-president with Lisa Farrar for this year, and former CFO for Engineering Services, a longtime Soroptimist. And to my left, just having spoken, is Tammy Zeller.
Yes, I'm Tammy Zeller. I currently serve as Soroptimist on the board, and I'm the secretary and Zoom extraordinaire, but my day job is an underwriting section manager at State Farm Insurance.
And Lori Reed.
Hi, I'm Lori Reed. I'm retired, so I don't have a day job. My day job is Soroptimist.
That's true. Paula Atkins in Virginia.
Hi, I'm Paula Adkins, and I am dialing in from Virginia because that's my new residence. But I love this club, so I'm still a Phoenix Soroptimist.
Good to see you, Paula. Terry Parker.
Terry Parker, I'm retired City of Phoenix contracts administrator and about 38 years with Soroptimist of Phoenix.
Cindy Hayes.
Hi, I am Soroptimist. I'm new to this particular club. I used to be in Huntington Beach, but my day job is I'm a realtor with HomeSmart.
Thank you. And Margie Burke.
Hi, I'm Margie Burke. I also serve as the Golden West Region Governor-elect and currently the Chief Finance and Operating Officer here at the Desert Botanical Garden. Chihuly ends June 19th, so if you haven't come, please make sure to make your way here.
Thanks for that reminder, Margie. Joan Burke, not yet a member, but will be, and thank you for joining us, Joan. And I'm going to go over to Tara Jackson.
Hi, everyone. Great to see my friends from Rising Youth Theater. Tara Jackson, president at Arizona Town Hall.
Thank you. Mary Greer.
Sorry, I was muted. Hi, Mary Greer. Good to see my friends from Rising Youth Theater and to actually meet Trinity in person, virtually. I'm a retired attorney, longtime member of Soroptimist, and glad to see you all today.
Thank you, Mary. Lee Wales.
Hello, Lee Wales, formerly with Valley of the Sun United Way as a development officer and Bold Information Systems as the director of enterprise systems. And I've been a member of Soroptimist for about 19 years.
And Chris Feitus. Chris, you're on mute.
There we go. I just saw that. There you go. I'm Chris Feitus. I'm retired. Used to be an air traffic controller. Used to do a lot of things, but I've been retired about 8 years, and I've been with Soroptimist about 8 years.
Thanks, Chris. Regina Webster.
Hi, everybody. My name is Regina, and I am a flight attendant for American Airlines. Sorry, my camera will be off, but I will be getting ready because I have to go to work. I've been a Soroptimist member for a little over a year. Welcome. Thank you.
Glad you could join in, Regina. And Tara Whitehead.
Tara Whitehead. I've been with Soroptimist for coming up on a year. I'm an account executive and education coach, and it's great to see everyone.
Thanks, Tara. And Shelley Cutts, over to you to introduce yourself and then to introduce our speakers, program speakers.
Great, thank you. So I'm Shelley Cutts. I am vice president or president-elect of Soroptimist International of Phoenix. Also chair the region's laws and resolutions committee, and I am Unit Chief Counsel for Environmental Enforcement with Arizona's Office of the Attorney General. So I am really excited to have two really wonderful speakers whose bios I've read and were just amazingly impressed. So our speakers are Trinity Lugo. Is that correct? Did I say your last name correctly?
Yes.
Good. And so Trinity is an artist, a poet, an actress, and a writer who is a transforming artistic collaborator with Rising Youth Theater. And our other speaker is Xanthia Walker, and she is an Arizona State Sun Devil who has a Master of Fine Arts. And I think that's what I read. I want to make sure that's correct. I think I got it. Yes. And who also, in addition to her work with Rising Youth Theater, is co-chair of the Board of Directors of Planned Parenthood Arizona. So I'm really looking forward to hearing Trinity and Xanthia talk about their work with Rising Youth Theater. So I'm just going to turn over the floor. So thank you both for being with us today.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Thanks so much for having us, y'all. We're so excited to be here and share space with y'all today. Yeah, so, oh, go ahead, Xanthia, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's just so cool to be in a space of women and femme identifying folks who are all passionate about being engaged in our community. And so thank you so much for having us. We're looking forward to sharing a little bit about Rising Youth Theater, who we are and what we do, and more importantly than that, just being in dialogue with all of you and seeing how the conversation evolves as we're together this afternoon.
Yes. So yes, for those of you who don't know, we are Rising Youth Theater. We are a local Phoenix-based nonprofit multi-generational organization that works at the intersections of youth leadership, art, and social justice. So we'll be able to talk more about who we are and what we do in the work that we create. And then we'll have time to for you guys to ask us any questions, and so we can dive deeper into what you guys are wanting to learn. But yes, so thank you guys so much for having us here today. We're so excited. And just to get us started, we like to start with a warm-up, just a way to build community and get a feel of the space together. So does that sound good to everybody?
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
Don't worry, we're not going to ask you to do anything too wild.
I promise. It's very,
and
it's
you
very
can always
simple, fun
consent
game.
to what you feel good about participating in.
Yes.
Consent is really important to us. With that, the warm-up we were going to share with you today is something that we learned during the pandemic from our colleague Ty Muhammad. It's a Zoom warm-up, and it's called Touch Blue. So it starts, Trini, can we do a demo together?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna call out a prompt, and Trini's gonna find something in their house that represents this prompt, and he's gonna bring it into the Zoom screen. And if you're not able to be on camera right now, you can bring it into the chat, or you can just be a witness and a participant by watching. Okay, ready? So touch something blue. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amazing. So I see some blue things coming into the camera screen. Trini has shown us a bottle of blue Gatorade, very important as it's getting hotter outside. Yes, look at all these amazing blue objects coming into the space.
Yes.
Cool. Nice
Now we have
warm up
got
round.
it down. And another thing, for when we say prompts, if you can't find anything within the time that we give you, you can just do this. So put your hands to the camera just so we know that you couldn't find anything. But generally that's how it works. So we'll give out different prompts. But does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I can get us started with another prompt if that's all right, Xanthia?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Touch something clear, like transparent. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Would anyone else like to give it a try with the prompt? Open up the space a little bit more for anyone who wants to, jump in.
can do that, Trinity.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, how about a coin?
5,
Ooh,
3.
gotta
So that prompt gave us great information, right? Who keeps coins around their Zoom area? Some of us do and some of us do not.
Who keeps coins anymore? They just use electronic.
Also true. How about touch something useful? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so notice what is useful around us in the space today, what we have brought as useful things. And you can relax. And we want to pass it to one more person for one more prompt. Who wants to give it a try?
Touch something that has a Soroptimist logo on it.
Ooh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice.
Good job.
Notice what came into the space. Very cool. And you can shake that out. And thank you for jumping in with us and giving that a try. So, Trinity, can I pass it to you?
Yes.
You
So I
ready to
think,
dive into our mission?
yeah, we're gonna share our mission and values with y'all. I'll be dropping in our website link if y'all want to check us out. But our mission, it is to imagine and build the world we want to live in through youth-driven, multi-generational collaboration and justice-centered artistic process and performance that generates reflection, connection, and action. And we have a couple, oh my God, my computer's being a little slow, so sorry. We have a couple of values, core values. We won't go through all of them, but maybe if we want to like say 3, Xanthia?
Sure. Yeah. So our core values are really important to us as an organization because they shape all the decisions that we make as Rising Youth Theater. And so we really treat them like an active, like a decision tree for like, okay, so what does it mean to actually show up in community in all of our practices and our processes in service of this mission that we've committed to. So Trini, do you want to share, you said you wanted us to read 3 of them?
Yeah.
3, no pressure.
Here we go. So we believe in the radical potential of youth to lead. Young people are already capable of being decision makers and agents of change. We believe when young people are centered, the impact on our community is transformative. And we believe that art and the artistic process should be riveting, relevant, and accessible for all people to participate in as creators, audience, and community members. Again, those are just 3 of our core values. We have many. So again, I dropped that link if you guys would like to check it out. But to what Xanthia is saying, yeah, our core values are everything to us. And so, you know, we always ask ourselves, are we living our values? Are we living our mission? So we do a lot of reflecting and digging deeply and making sure that we are like living what we want to do and what we say, you know, because it is important for us to have this space and to be the best that we can. Yeah, those are our mission and values.
Yeah, and so what Mary asked us to kind of talk about this morning, which is always exciting for us to talk about, is how we do the work that we do and how we structure our organizational leadership model. And this comes directly out of a lot of conversations that we had as a team in understanding how to live these values that we've said are really important to us and crucial to us living our mission as an organization. So our organization is 10 years old and it's changed a lot in the 10 years that it's existed. So we're still relatively young. And in some ways that means that that's a huge gift and a blessing because it means we can be really nimble and flexible. and we can shapeshift as we learn more about how to actually do what we want to do as an organization. So we have a youth and adult shared leadership team that we have been building and rebuilding together for, I would say, the last 5 years or so. Initially, we had a really traditional, when we first started the organization, we were definitely all volunteer. And there were a lot of adults at the decision-making table of the organization making decisions on behalf of young people. So what programming are we going to do for youth? How are we going to serve youth? How are youth going to benefit from what we've decided as adults at Rising Youth Theater are the right programs for this organization to be investing in and developing. And we worked that way for a while, and we had really beautiful partnerships with a lot of different communities and communities of young people. But we noticed that there was a disconnect between this mission that we had of really being in partnership with young people and the functional work that we were doing, which was about adults making decisions about how to serve young people. And so we started to ask questions about what it would mean to shift that and to actually figure out how we as an organization create a structure where youth and adults are actually leading together. So we started to build towards that with an apprenticeship program, which then turned into a fully built out youth and adult staff structure. And now we have a leadership team where half of the leadership team is adult staff members and half are youth. And then we also have across all of the different layers of our organization, youth and adults that are leading together and are paid staff members of the organization. And Trinity, I'll pass it to you to talk about power sharing practices.
Yes, so again, since we are made up of youth and adult, we've made practices to share power because it's a really important thing, especially when we're making decisions together. And so a great gesture that we use a lot is that, you know, we don't want to be like the adults up here and the youth are down here, and the adults are just like giving all the information and the knowledge and just like kind of teaching the youth. And we don't want to completely flip it to where the youth are in control and doing all that work. What we want to do is come to a shared space of co-collaboration and power sharing, because it is important to us. You know, we all have power, and we believe that we all should be able to share that power together. And that's what makes the work so great, I think, is that we have that together. And so we created a top 10 power sharing list, which we'll drop in the chat for you. Let me be able to, and again, this just helps us focus on power sharing and how we do it efficiently, and that feels great to everybody because it is a big thing. And so we have established this as sorry, it's not copying. We established this as a team, and we reflect on it all the time and make sure that we are doing, as we said, when power sharing and when we're in a room together, sharing space and collaborating. So I did drop it in chat if you guys want to check it out. Let's see. Xanthia, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, I was totally talking. We were on the same vibe, but I was muted. Yeah, so this power sharing list is the other document that goes in tandem with our values. So we're like, so if the mission is the first layer, and then the values are the next layer, then the power sharing practices are the next layer of like, okay, so what does that look like in your staff meetings, in your rehearsal rooms, at your school residencies? And it's been, I think, the most important part of the process that we have committed to as Rising Youth Theater is to constantly be in conversation about what it means to power share. And so this document evolves frequently as we evolve and we learn more about how to do the work. it's definitely not a perfect process, but also perfectionism is not interesting to us as an organization. We're interested in finding the ways to do the work that are humanizing, that honor and respect all the people that are in the space with us, and that really, really actually center the leadership of young people. And so we wanted to share a little bit about what that our work actually looks like in process. Now, we've talked a lot about like the ideas and the frames that shape the work. So like you may be wondering a little bit about what we actually do. We create original productions. So we have ensembles of youth and adult artists that create original plays that are based on things that our artistic ensembles feel it is important to speak about and to create art about. So currently, we're working on a show called Key Smash that Trini and I are co-directing. And so Key Smash is a conversation about mental health. And the phrase Key Smash was new to me when we first started talking about this project. But you know, when you like are frustrated or like you don't have words for something, and so you just like put a bunch of random keys on the computer, that is a key smash. And it felt like an appropriate way to think about how we wanted to open a conversation about mental health. So we've been working for the last year with an ensemble of youth and adult artists that are also all interested in talking about mental health. We've also been working with partner organizations, Bring Change to Mind, which is an organization that ends mental health stigma by working with young people through school clubs all across the state of Arizona. They actually work nationally, but we're working with the Arizona chapters. And then we're also working with the Lullaboy Foundation, which is an organization that provides therapy grants to young people that don't have access to mental health resources. So with those two partner organizations and our artistic ensemble, we've been researching and well, actually, Trini, do you want to talk about the 3 phases of our new work development process?
Yeah, so the first phase is research. This is when we come together and we make like a whole big list of like questions we're wanting to ask. And so once we create that list, we start like doing a lot of like story circles, storytelling. That way everyone can share their own experiences. We do a lot of research for those questions, digging deeper for like all the stuff that we need to in order to like make this happen. And like gathering all the important information that we want to add and include in the performance. So we do that for about a couple months, and then we move into the devising phase, and this is when we're kind of going more out into our community. We're doing some workshops, we're doing more community story circles, gathering stories from the community, and then that's when we start kind of like building a script and seeing where we want to go and trying things out in our bodies. So a lot of time we'll do like a lot of improv or like exercises. And then once we have all that, once we have a finalized script, we moved into the production phase, which is the phase that we're in right now. And that's really just putting the whole play on its feet. And then we'll be performing in May. So if y'all would like to come, please do. We'll share the dates and have everything for y'all. But yeah, that's how our productions usually work. We have 3 phases that we do over the course of a year or however long that is.
We very rarely perform in a traditional theater space. We perform in spaces where that are relevant to the conversation that we're trying to have with our art. So we've performed, we had a show that was performed in an alley. We've had shows that perform in the library. We had a show that traveled through an entire school building. We had a show that performed in an empty Kmart store that had been closed. And this show is going to tour next year. So we're trying something new, which is we're starting the tour in our own house. So we're having our first audience come to our home space, which is a studio in Phoenix Center for the Arts. And then the show will go out on tour next year. Hopefully to many different schools and community organizations to grow the conversation about mental health led by young people. So that's our Key Smash project.
And I really quickly, I think another thing to add or to know about us is that all of our plays are free. So we don't charge anything. We really believe that all art should be accessible for everyone. So that's why we don't have that. Again, because accessibility is very important to us in our community. So I just wanted to add that little note.
Yeah. We wanted to highlight one other show project, which is, what is your primary source of funding? Great question. It's a combination of government grants, foundation grants, individual donations. We do qualify for the Arizona charitable tax credit, which has been really awesome. And then we also do a whole bunch of different kinds of collaborative residency projects. So we partner with schools and community organizations, and we do consulting, and those are all sources of earned revenue for us. So another project we wanted to highlight is our Light Rail Play series. This is our longest running project, and it began in, I want to say 2012, right? With the Arizona Commission on the Arts had a program called Arizona Art Tank, like Shark Tank, where you had to come up with an innovative idea for how to engage community with art. And we pitched an idea that we were going to create a play series that happened on our public transportation system. And so that was the launch of the Light Rail Plays. And then we've been performing Light Rail Plays annually ever since then in all different kinds of formats. There's a consistent thread, which is that it's short plays created by one adult and one youth in partnership with each other. So we usually have between 8 and 10 short plays. And then they've performed on the trains. We've done like a loop where the audience travels on the light rail. We've also had them tour platforms where they bounce from platform to platform to see the performances. And then the last couple of years, with the pandemic, we have partnered with Valley Metro to create short films. So we film and they give us a train car to film inside of, and we've produced 2 film projects now during the pandemic. So it's been cool and then this thing we just put in the chat is this is our archive website for Light Rail Plays. So you can, if you're interested, you can go all the way back to the beginning. You can also see the most recent film.
Yes. And again, we just don't do production. So those are just highlighting like the productions that we have done or we are working on. But we also do like community partnership projects. So this is when we partner with community members or other organizations, and we kind of build what we want to do together. So that can look like different things. For example, our recent one that actually just ended on Tuesday, we have a program called Creative Interventions. And this is a space where teachers and students can come together, a cohort of teachers and students can come together and build community and figure out ways on how to stop student push out within their schools. So yeah, again, like I said, that program just ended, at least for this year, just ended on Tuesday. And then another program that we have is Fronterizas, and Xanthia, if you want to talk more about that, because I wasn't on that project.
Yeah, the Fronterizas Ensemble is a partnership between Rising Youth Theater and an organization in Tucson called Safos Dance Theater, and an organization in Douglas, Arizona, and Agua Prieta, Sonora, so right at the border, called Border Arts Corridor. And we have 3 youth artists and 3 adult artists from each of those organizations that work together in an ensemble to create original work that shifts narratives around what it means to live in a border community. So all of the artists engaged in the project are in relationship to the Douglas and Agua Prieta community in different ways. And we just put up a binational show in March that was on both sides of the border at the same time. So it was on the Douglas side and the Agua Prieta side simultaneously. And I'm gonna link. I know this is a lot of links, but just click through to the ones that are like interesting to you. We just want to make sure you've got stuff to dig deeper if you'd like to. But this is the Fronterizas Instagram page where you can kind of see the work in progress and how it was documented.
And then we also do school residency. So that's when schools want us to come in. And usually we teach theater, or we've done dance. But we have like a couple of school residencies going on. We have Genesis, we have HISA right now, and a couple others. But yeah, so we do a lot of different things than just production. So that kind of gives you a little insight of all the work that we do. I think now, Xanthia, we wanted to kind of open it up and see if anyone had any questions that we can answer. Yeah, if there's anything more specifically like y'all would like to learn about, please let us know. But generally, that is Rising Youth Theater and who we are and what we do.
Yes.
Your hands raised.
I'd like to learn more about the youths and how many, what are the ages? How do you find youths to work with you, or do they easily find you?
Yeah, those are interesting questions. We have like a lot of different layers of youth engagement. So the most intimate layer is our youth and adult staff team. So we have 11 people on staff at Rising Youth Theater, and I'm counting, hang on. 7 of those people are young people. And then we have between 10 and 20 young people in each of the artistic ensembles we work with. But then across all of our classes and camps and residency programs, we end up working with in a non-pandemic year, we end up working with between 500 and 600 young people, usually a year. And the way they come to us is really varied. So sometimes we'll meet people in school when we do like a school residency or a workshop, or we'll meet folks in like a story circle workshop with a community organization. We also put out calls for participation for some of our artistic ensembles. And so we make sure those calls get around via social media or through other programs that we have. And then I think the last way is word of mouth, like young people referring other young people that are in their lives to be a part of the work. And we tend to have long-term relationships with the young people we work with. So it's pretty rare that somebody will come to one program one time and then never come back to another Rising Youth experience. And all of the staff on our team, on our leadership team, including Trinity, have been working with Rising Youth Theater for, Trinity, I think you've been here since 2014.
2015.
Right? 2015. Yeah, which is quite a while in the life cycle of our 10-year-old company. So it's pretty cool to be able to say that the youth on our team have carry a lot of the institutional memory for the organization.
And I think for like the age range, it really depends. Like for example, for Key Smash, we have youth as young as 14 to as old as like 24. So generally, it does really depend because we also have summer camp. So again, that's like literal kids. So it just really depends on like the project that we're doing or like who we're partnering with and who we're bringing in.
So Trinity, you said you're 20 years old and you've been there 7 years. So you must have started when you were 13.
Yes, I was 13 or 14. I was first introduced to Rising Youth Theater by a classmate who had worked with Rising Youth Theater before. And that's when I was introduced to light role plays, and I had auditioned and was part of it. And then I had done a couple other projects with them before moving into an apprenticeship role for about a year or so. And then now I'm on staff as a transforming artistic collaborator. So it's been several years now. Does anyone else have any questions for us?
Do parents often get involved?
That's an interesting question. We tend to center our relationship on the young person, but also we think about like the family of that young person, whether that's family like parents or family like chosen family, as a part of our community. So there's definitely we have a lot of community dinners as a part of our artistic ensembles, and families are always a part of those. We're trying to get better at volunteer opportunities and structuring things like that. But to be honest with you, that's a capacity thing that we're working on, is how to structure that more effectively.
So how do you navigate conflicts between parents and your youth participants, or have you not had situations like that? Do you find the parents are supportive of their child's participation?
Most of the time, the parents have usually been really supportive and really into it as well. So we haven't really had encountered many conflicts. There might have been a couple where the parents have some sort of resistance to the work that we do. But I think what we do is just kind of be transparent, and we kind of talk about how we move forward and how we can support the young person who really shows and wants to be involved in this work, but also having their parents not wanting them to be participate. So yeah, we really haven't had any conflicts specifically with the parents. So it's kind of hard to answer that question a little bit.
Mary Greer had a question.
Oh, I was just going to ask if you could describe the social justice aspect of your work.
Yeah, I mean, social justice is at the center of what we do, because whenever we're asking people to show up, in a space as their full human selves, that means that they come with all of their identities and all of their cultural contexts. And so we work really intentionally at intersections of race, class, and age, especially. And it's really important to us that our work is healing and not harmful. So we are always, all of our work is about centering young people in unpacking what is important to them and being heard and respected, and also creating space to learn and to grow and to be in community in ways that feel celebratory and affirming and also brave, because we dig into deep topics together and we work from our lived experience. So with that can come challenging conversations, and trauma of course comes up. And so we work really intentionally to hold a space where we are cared for as a community, as youth and adults, and where we really, part of our work is also we teach each other how to take care of each other, and how to hold each other through what can be, I think, there's a lot happening in our community all the time, and especially over the last couple of years as we've moved through a lot of change. So I feel like I don't know exactly how to articulate the social justice aspect because it's woven through everything that we do. It's never not a part of our conversation.
You mentioned each performance has a theme, and that you have a performance coming up in May. What will that theme be? And that you choose your venue based on that theme. And so where do you plan to hold that?
Yeah, so it's Key Smash, and we kind of touch upon it and I can drop the link again, but Key Smash is a play and conversation about mental health. So that is our play that will be happening in May. And like Xanthia said, touch base a little bit, but we decided that we're gonna perform it in our home space or our office space.
That's right.
Which is located at Phoenix Center for the Arts. Because we thought it would be a nice, like, you know, with the pandemic, I feel like it's been really crazy and we haven't had something in person in so long. So we thought it'd be very inviting to welcome people into our home space where we can test out our performance first. And then again, like we hope to tour it next year in schools or in our communities. So it'll go where people are wanting it to go.
I put a question in the chat, but I know there's a lot in the chat. I wanted to learn a little bit more about Key Smash and what exactly it is. Like, is it kind of impromptu? Is it a play? I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, thanks, Tara. It's so Key Smash is a play, but it has a lot of participation in it. So we're using a structure called forum theater, where we will present a series of storylines. We'll have 3 storylines that each are addressing a different aspect of mental health and featuring a young person as the main character. And so in each of those storylines, the young person is facing a different mental health challenge that they're trying to work through. And at the end of each of those storylines, there's an open-ended question that kind of stops the scene. And then the audience is going to get a chance to participate in like workshopping what could happen what could happen that could shift like the trajectory of like that young person's experience with mental health. So it's kind of like group brainstorming and problem solving with like a little bit of improvisation in the mix. And not to give too much away, but the show takes place, it's going to be a really intimate space. We're going to have about 15 audience members per performance. So the audience will be a part of a conversation the entire time, as opposed to like watching a play where you kind of watch something happen and then you go talk about it with your friends like over coffee afterwards. And in this show, we're going to be talking together throughout the whole experience.
Any other questions or anything? Yes.
I've got a question for you, Trinity. Since you've been involved for such a long time, how do you feel like the program has affected you or changed the trajectory of your life in any way?
Yeah, it's changed me tremendously. I think back to when I was first introduced to Rising Youth Theater, I had never been in this space where I, as a youth, my voice was valued and listened to, and where I was able to be in that decision-making process of like specifically what as like what we wanted to talk about for young people. And so like coming into the space where I can learn about that and like learning my own like, you know, leadership skills and my own artistic practices and learning how to use my power and my voice, but also like learning about social justice and it's helped shape me in so many ways. Like there's an endless list, but yeah, it's truly been a great pleasure working with Rising Youth Theater, and so transformative, and I'm continuing to grow and learn every day still, and I'm so grateful for that.
So I guess, Trinity, I'll ask a follow-up to that in terms of sort of what are your plans sort of going forward with your artistic endeavors?
Yeah, I feel like this year I've been taking on a lot more with Rising Youth Theater. So I've been taking on a lot more projects. I've been leading a lot more. And I hope that I can continue to do that and get even more involved. But something that I'm really excited about that has been recent is that Sarah, which is another staff member, we had a vision and dream for a lit mag of our own. And we were really able to bring that to life this year. And it's something that we're still working on and something that we're still finding the groove of because it is still new. But I have a lot of passion for writing. So to be able to like, knowing that I helped create a space where young people and adults can come and share writing together and we can learn from each other as another great space. I'm really excited for that. And I really hope to take on more lead for that because yeah, I'm really passionate about that. So yeah, I hope to dive into more things, but yeah, I hope that answers your question.
I have the same question for Xanthia. Same two questions.
Wait, can I hear the questions again?
How has the organization changed you?
Yeah.
And what looking forward, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, thank you. I'm a completely different collaborator than I was 10 years ago because of my work with Rising Youth Theater. I was socialized into a structure of art making where to be good at making art, you have to be decisive and direct and firm and have all the answers. And so as an adult collaborator, I think I had a lot of ego that I had to shed in order to really be able to be in partnership with young people. And so like my journey through that process of like understanding what it means to really actually share power has changed how I collaborate across all the different parts of work that I'm involved in. So my work like in community as a volunteer, the work that I do on other artistic projects outside of this have totally like shifted how I show up in those spaces, and how I'm able to be a part of conversations has shifted so drastically because of how I have learned to practice shared power as a core value of mine. And I think in terms of where I see us going next, so we have like a dream and a goal of figuring out how to tour our work. So to tour process, but that means like we tour process and product. We wouldn't pick up a show and just drop it in another community because the process is such an important part of our work. So a challenge that we're working on right now that's particularly exciting to me is figuring out how Rising Youth Theater can tour its process and products as a part of being in partnership with folks in other communities that are doing similar work. So that's been really fun to start to explore, and I'm looking forward to doing that more.
I have a follow-up question. You mentioned other communities that are doing similar work. Are you actively collaborating and making your model transferable to other communities?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe more than making our model transferable, it's about like partnering with other communities and like each of us sharing the assets that we bring to our work and learning about that. And we actually just had this week, they just left this morning, we had guests in town from Denver, an organization called Mirror Image Arts that works to disrupt the school to prison pipeline using theater. And so we've been working with them virtually over the last 2 years now, learning about each other's work and learning about how we might work together. And so they just came and spent 4 days with us, which was, I think, really special, especially since it took us a while to get there as we were waiting for travel to be okay again. But yeah, so that just happened this week. So definitely in process.
Shelley, do you have anything more than to add as our program chair? If not, I'd like to thank Xanthia Walker and Trinity Lugo, Rising Youth Theater. And now we know more about you. And thank you to I believe we have 2 members, Mary Greer and Tara Jackson, who are very familiar with you. And that's how we were able to connect with you. Thank you really for joining us today.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you all so much. We really appreciate it. And we were so happy to share space with y'all. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're definitely open. If anybody wants to continue the dialogue with us, you can always reach out to us via email. Our emails are on our website. We'd love to keep talking to you.
And let us know about your upcoming performance. Keep us updated on that.
Yes, for sure. We will make sure to get that information out to y'all.
Yeah, I was busy emailing it to myself from your link. So thank you.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone who has joined us today. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful week.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.